So I want to hear about how both of you work with staff, because, I think the um, lens design companies are starting to definitely figure out more and more that staff have become such an core part of the process. And I think it's difficult for a lot of docs to hand that over to their staff, more and more responsibility. And I say, whatever's working, let it ride. But I have found more and more practices finding better success by bringing their staff more into it. So Zac, we'll start with you. How big of a role does staff play in the myopia program? How much of a role do the students play in the myopia program at your practice?
Yeah, I mean, to be simple, the students play a role really just on the clinical side. So they're just doing testing. I mean, they're doing examination components, running topography, checking acuity, like documenting in the chart. And probably their biggest piece of the pie that just a regular technician can't do, or it takes a lot of training to do, is really the documentation in the chart, as far as like the manifest refraction, the over refraction, like just the ortho-k evaluation, really. But like ancillary staff, my front desk person is very familiar with ortho-k, very articulate with patients, talking both at check-in, check-out person has very articulate. I have a scribe slash clinical assistant that is excellent, can do everything the students can do. But probably the biggest variable staff member that I have that a lot of other clinicians don't is I have a historically optician trained staff member, but her main goal, or her main like duties, are pretty much strictly to receive the lenses, track the lenses, contact patients when they're here, monitor the warranty period. And so she is 100% in charge of kind of everything outside of the exam room for like patient communication and organization. We have different processes and different bins and locations that these bins travel within the practice, depending on where they're at in the fitting process. And really, she's very aware of who all is within warranty, like tries to track people down to get them on the schedule if their warranty is starting to run out, text patients that the warranty is getting close to. And so she's kind of like my myopia control admin person, because when you start developing this ortho-k program within your practice, the doctor can do this stuff. But once you start doing more than one patient a month, like, it becomes very burdensome for the OD to track and monitor these things, almost to the deficit where it starts taking away from your patient care hours. And so once you start building and building and building, you really have to delegate some of these non-OD essential activities to a staff member that can dedicate a ton of time to these practices.
Gotcha. And Joelle, how big of a role does staff play?
Yeah, so we have almost a pretty similar, minus the students, like pretty similar office size with Zac. We have 7 employees. So my 2 biggest people, I really only work with like 2 staff members. It's going to be our technician who runs the topographies. And then it's essentially like our office manager / front desk person that does our dispense visits, teaches how to put the lenses in, take them out, and run through the contract with the parent to sign. So the topographies, I mean, I'm kind of like anal about them. Randy Kojima like made me that way, so I blame him. But any like successful fit's got to start there. So I think every 90 days, I'm always like, let's just talk about it again on like what this means and how this works and how we got to do it. And then when it comes to like the patient care side, teaching the staff how to insert, remove, clean, care, review the consent, review the patient's consent, get all that stuff signed so that they understand. Those are really my 2 main staff members that we utilize. I think that the patient admin, like the one that's teaching your kid how to put them in and take them out and doing that consent form stuff with the parent and the kid, because we have double consents. The parent signs one, the kid signs one. But to go through that, I think is super important and kind of tedious. And we want to make sure every parent and every kid understands like the gravity of that, because I talk so much about like hygiene and making sure everything's okay. And like, we're going to really know how to do this and making sure hands are like all those things. I talk about that, but I got to make sure they're actually like learning that on the outside. So I try to stay like pumped up about it. You know, I try to include our staff on continuing educations if we can. I try to bring in like Euclid or bring in like reps to like talk to our staff about it, so that it's not just me all the time like educating them, that they're hearing it from other outlets as well. But they've got a lot of other things going, you know, they're also working all the other odd jobs in the clinic too. So I try to share the success stories with them. I try to, you know, this person got down to this just in a day. Like I kind of check in with them. But we have small clinics, and so we all have to work together, because I don't want to do it all and I can't really do it all at the volume that we're at. So yeah, training the technician who techs all my other patients too, to do the topographies, and then training somebody in the office, and it happens to be either our office manager or one of our front desk, to run through INR to get through consents, are two main staff jobs.
If you're interested in getting the rest of the episode, consider becoming a paid supporter of the Myopia Mindset. In addition to an extended version of this episode and every other episode that we do, you'll also get access to exclusive monthly bonus episodes of the Myopia Mindset. And I know you're interested. You've made it this far. You can do so on our Substack, myopiamindset.substack.com. I'll see you at the next one.